This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening. I'm Haley Wilkes. Alan is on assignment tonight. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have taken the debate stage together for the last time. The presidential nominees sparred in their third and final debate of the election season last night. They didn't shake hands. The discussion was mostly civil and stuck to the issues. That is, until presidential fitness came up and then the floodgates opened. Trump has been touting the idea of a, quote, rigged election on the campaign trail and even refused to say he would accept the results. We'll have much more on the debate with our roundtable. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. A solar amendment on the November ballot is now in hot water after leaked audio suggests the wording was in fact an effort to trick Florida voters. Solar advocates across Florida have long called Amendment 1 a wolf in sheep's clothing, designed to appear pro-solar when in fact it would give utility companies more power to impose fees on private solar. Take a listen to this audio from the James Madison Institute, which helped advise the group Consumers for Smart Solar about the amendment.
Remember this, solar polls very well. To the degree that we can use a little bit of political jujitsu and take what they're kind of hitting us on and use it to our benefit.
It's total confirmation of what we've been saying all along, that that the utilities have engaged, some very high-powered lobbyists.
The group Consumers for Smart Solar is denying that it consulted with the James Madison Institute. JMI says its vice president of policy misspoke in that audio recording. A federal judge has rejected a request from the Florida Democratic Party to change some voting rules before the general election. U.S. District Judge Mark Walker denied the emergency motion today in a hearing in Tallahassee. Democrats were concerned that some new voters would not have their registration applications processed before early voting starts on Monday. This means some citizens would be forced to vote with provisional ballots, which require greater scrutiny from elections officials. In his ruling, Walker said there's no evidence to suggest the state is intentionally processing the applications slowly. An attorney for the Florida Democratic Party is disappointed with the ruling.
When you vote a provisional ballot, it's not counted unless the canvassing board approves the ballot.
Judge Walker pushed back the voter registration deadline last week because of Hurricane Matthew, leaving a fairly short time between the end of voter registration and the beginning of early voting. Job growth is on the rise on the Suncoast, with more than 5,200 new jobs created in the past year. That's according to the chief economist with the Florida Chamber of Commerce Foundation. The fastest growing sector was construction, along with healthcare, hospitality, and trade. The Sarasota-Manatee region was ranked 9th for best growth in the state. Economists say to maintain the economy, nearly 10,000 jobs need to be added by 2020. A 5th travel-related Zika case is being reported here in Sarasota. The State Department of Health made the announcement yesterday. For most people, the symptoms of the mosquito-borne virus are relatively mild, but it can cause devastating birth defects. Manatee County officials have reported 4 travel-related cases. Statewide, there are now a total of 1,044 people infected with Zika. A mother and her boyfriend are being charged with child neglect after an infant was left with second-degree burns. An incident report from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office says the child's mom, Kayla Zarvis, left her son with boyfriend Dennis Ziprian. Authorities say things turned sour quickly.
His story to us was that they were taking a shower and he leaves the little boy, who's almost 1 year old, in the shower. He gets out. Several minutes later, he hears the boy crying, so he goes in there and realizes that the water is way too hot.
The sheriff's office says the couple went to a local Walmart to treat the burns themselves, but then left the child in the car for 25 minutes while shopping. Both Zarvis and Ziprian have been charged with child neglect with great bodily harm. The child has since been transferred to Tampa General's Burn Center. Venice Elementary and Venice High School were put on lockdown today as police search for a dangerous suspect. Police say the man tried to steal 2 cars beginning around 8 o'clock last night. He's also believed to be responsible for beating a woman as she left a massage business. Police did not notify the public of their search until 11 o'clock this morning. The chief says the suspect has most likely left the city at this time. Suncoast Congressman Vern Buchanan is asking Congress for help to control red tide in local waters. Tens of thousands of dead fish have been washing ashore in Sarasota and Manatee counties as a result of red tide. Congressman Buchanan says that it is harming the Suncoast environment and the economy. He plans to urge congressional leaders to include funding to combat the algae blooms when he returns to Washington next month. And now for a check on our weather, let's head over to Bob. And Bob, I've been noticing that this humidity really feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's been nice. Despite the fact temperatures have been in the low 90s throughout much of this week, today upper 80s, the humidity value has been low. And so that makes it feel a little bit more comfortable out there. But over the weekend, the humidity is going to stay low, and so are the temperatures, below average, that is, as a cold front is due to arrive. Late tomorrow, a cool weekend ahead. Tough boating conditions, though, as a result of the winds picking up out of the northwest behind the front. Clear right now. It's comfortable. 68 on the dew point. The humidity, 67%. Pressure now rising to 9.88 inches, and winds out of the north-northwest at 8. The forecast is calling for this front to eventually make its way through. Right now, it is moving through Tennessee and also northern sections of Alabama. Sliding down through Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. Behind it, fall is right around the corner, and we will see that stick around, too, for a little while. Some showers down near Fort Myers and Naples. Nothing going on here. And temperatures will drop down into the mid-70s, a little bit above average by 11 o'clock. Fair skies anticipated. Those winds out of the northeast now, not all that strong. You'll notice on the coast, though, they're coming out of the northwest. It's a little sea breeze that has developed with only a half mile or so of the coast. Similar conditions down into Venice and Englewood and Rotunda, all out of the west-northwest, while at Northport, Port Charlotte, and Warm Mineral Springs out of the northeast. So you see the dividing line there where that sea breeze has popped in. Now, normally when a cold front comes down, we can get some rain. It doesn't appear that we're going to get much, if at all any, as a result of that dry air that's really covering much of the Gulf of Mexico and throughout all of Florida Peninsula. We'll have more on the forecast. I'll talk about a tropical system a little bit later that is trying to develop east of the Bahamas.
All right. Thank you, Bob. And still to come, it was the final chance to see the presidential nominees on the same stage, and neither one held back. We'll have highlights from last night's debate when we return.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Don Brennan. After a 2-year hiatus, the Florida International Air Show is returning to the Suncoast.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, we'll take a look at what changes spectators can see at this year's event. John?
We are watching a chance of a cold front bring us some much different weather for the weekend. We'll talk about that bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
If you have a suspicion for harboring prostate cancer, we have a way of diagnosing by using an exquisite instrument called three-dimensional color flow power Doppler ultrasound. Using this system, we can identify abnormalities within the prostate that you could otherwise never detect. The Dotoli Cancer Center is the only center in the southeastern United States which has this technology. If you have prostate cancer, we will find it.
The third and final presidential debate got heated at times, but the candidates were asked to talk about the issues. CNN's Andrew Spencer has a recap.
As Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump took the stage, they did not so much as step toward each other, let alone shake hands. They went right to their podiums and they went right to work, talking about the open seat on the U.S. Supreme Court.
We need a Supreme Court that will stand up on behalf of women's rights, on behalf of the rights of the LGBT community, that will stand up and say no to Citizens United.
The justices that I'm going to appoint will be pro-life. They will have a conservative bent. They will be protecting the Second Amendment.
Which prompted a discussion on guns.
Because I support the Second Amendment doesn't mean that I want people who shouldn't have guns to be able to threaten you, kill you or members of your family.
In Chicago, which has the toughest gun laws in the United States, probably you could say by far, they have more gun violence than any other city.
On abortion.
Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v.
Well,
Wade?
if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, that will happen.
So many states are putting very stringent regulations on women that block them from exercising that choice.
The first signs of the conversation getting heated between the two candidates. They sparred on the wall.
When it comes to the wall that Donald talks about building, he went to Mexico. He had a meeting with the Mexican president. Didn't even raise it. He choked.
Once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
And on national security.
Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
And when we come back, a discussion of last night's presidential debate with our roundtable. Stay with us.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house. The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
On horrendously cold nights, on days when the rain has been relentless, or when the sun is beating down, there is an animal trapped with no protection, fighting to stay alive. Time is running out for them, but you can help save them by joining the ASPCA today. With your donation of just $18 a month, you'll help rescue abused and neglected animals, provide them with food, shelter, and medical care. When you go online or call in the next 10 minutes, we'll send you this free membership kit and our limited edition 150th anniversary t-shirt. It's just 60 cents a day to pull animals out of a terrible life. Don't let them suffer another day. Please help now.
Welcome back. Joining us now for more on that third and final presidential debate is author and political historian Mark Weston, Susan Nylon, who is covering this year's elections for the Associated Press, and Republican State Committee woman A.J. Jansen. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
So first of all, let's just start off. This is our last debate. Let's let everyone have a chance to share your thoughts on how you think each candidate performed. And we'll start with you, A.J.
Well, Donald Trump did very well last night. He was poised, he was in control, but yet he was himself. I don't think that we want him to lose the one character issue that really makes him stand out and makes him Donald Trump. But I think that he was in control. He made some comments that were controversial this morning, so I guess we'll be talking about that, but I gave him an A.
Okay, and Mark, your thoughts?
I think it's interesting today that the fact checkers have been giving mostly truths to Hillary Clinton's statements and mostly falses to Donald Trump's statements. To me, one of the most amazing things was when she criticized him. I'm losing my train of thought, I'm sorry. When she criticized him and he just said, about the disabled reporter. She criticized him for mocking the disabled reporter for the New York Times, and he said into the microphone, wrong. And this is a video that everyone in the country has seen. You don't need a reporter to suddenly say, well, here's the fact here and where's the fact there. Everyone has seen this video, and yet he's in his own reality and says, wrong.
Even though he denied originally that that's the gesture he was making. I guess that's where he's going with the wrong comment, correct? And Susan, your thoughts on how each candidate performed?
Oh, each candidate, I would say that you know, for the three debates, I thought last night was the most solid. I thought each candidate was really comfortable in their own skin, even if we didn't necessarily receive it that way. I certainly think that Trump was better prepped for last night than he was in the prior two, but I thought Hillary was absolutely excellent. And if you consider the past elections, and President Obama really fumbled on the very first debate of his last election, she was flawless in all three of them, and there was no real big, you know, oh, everybody's talking about the next day because there was a problem. So the only thing I would have to say is that I was, again, really disappointed that we never really cover a whole lot of substance. You know, it starts off that way, and then all of a sudden it comes into just a bunch of zingers and accusations, and that's disappointing.
Now, overall, this debate was less viewed that way, that maybe this was more of a policy debate than the other two. And Mark, would you agree with that?
I would. I think Chris Wallace did an excellent job trying to keep it as substantive as possible. It was harder in the second half of the debate once the zingers began. I think the turning point was when Hillary Clinton said to Donald Trump, you went to Mexico and met with President Nieto and never brought up immigration. He choked. And I think that word made Trump more snarly for the rest of the debate.
And AJ, where do you see maybe Trump's weakness last night? What would you have wished maybe he wouldn't have said?
Well, we have to remember that Mr. Trump is not a politician. He was never on a debate team. He doesn't have the experience to memorize what he should say. And I think that's part of the thing that makes him most attractive, is that he speaks what he's thinking and what he's feeling. So I think that, yes, maybe in time he'll be more polished, but he's captured the hearts of the average person because he's not as eloquent as Hillary or as Ted Cruz, who is the debating champion at Harvard. So, but he has touched the hearts of a lot of hard-working people that have been really hurt very badly by this economy and the decisions that were made about Obamacare. By the way, that was all Democrat, not one single Republican voted for that. So we have taken a beating on the economy and we have not recovered. We have malignant growth at 1%. And we can't blame George Bush on that anymore. It's time that these people of the establishment took responsibility. And I disagree with you about how Hillary was concise and divisive about her remarks. When she pivoted, she did not want to answer the foundation questions. She didn't want to, every time the question was asked her, she smiled. She looked around, she smiled, and she never gave that concise answer. So she avoided answering.
So we'll give you all a chance to respond to that when we come back. We do have to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have a check on our local weather and more with our roundtable.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new adventure.
And this week is wild with Mustang rescues.
So this is not for the weak in pocketbook, as they might say.
And the nosy Cotamundi.
Look at the nose. The nose is amazing to me because the nose is moving around almost 90 degrees all the time. Watch Animal Outtakes every week on ABC7.
Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees. Every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by LuxArt Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second Spin Mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
We'll have much more with our roundtable in just a moment. But first, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with a check on our forecast.
I'll tell you the forecast for this winter looking like this, Haley. We are calling for, at least the National Climatic Data Center is calling for, warmer than average temperatures anticipated this winter for many of the southern states, stretching from California all the way over to Florida. Our chances of getting a warmer winter than average is 40% or better, and that's fairly high. And that's a direct result of La Nina, which is the opposite of El Nino. We're anticipating a light or weak El Nino to take place during the winter months, and that's the cooling of the eastern Pacific. It looks as though Tower Cam showing a nice sunset tonight. Beautiful clear skies out there. Or a lot of dry air in place. And with all that dry air in place, we're not anticipating much rainfall with the passage of our first real cold front. It's going to move through Friday late, and then you'll notice a big difference wake-up time on Saturday morning, and that should stick around a while, too. No rain to report around here. There are a few showers down to our south. A little sea breeze has developed right along the immediate coastline. You can see that with our future winds. We're going to see them out of the north, very light tomorrow, so that northeasterly flow has now shifted tomorrow to more of a northwesterly component. And this particular model indicating the winds picking up after 5:30 out of the northwest, and that would be right around the time of passage with this model. Could be a little bit later, but we'll see how it plays out. 80 now. It's comfortable out there. Winds out of the northwest at 8, and the pressure 29.88 inches. The high today above average again, upper 80s, 88 degrees, the official high at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport. The low this morning was 68, and the average low is 67 degrees. No rainfall to report. We're not anticipating much rain at all with this front. We could see a brief shower, sprinkle or two, as it moves through later on Friday. 83 now in Tallahassee, 74 in Jacksonville. Orlando, 78 degrees, same in Arcadia now, and Sarasota at 80 degrees, 79 in Venice, and 80 degrees in Northport and in Bradenton. Well, tomorrow's forecast looks like this. We'll start off in the upper 60s to near 70, warm up into the mid to upper 80s by the afternoon with plenty of sunshine and no chance of any significant rainfall. We could see 1 or 2 lone showers, as I mentioned, with the passage of that front. And the National Hurricane Center was going to investigate this area again today, and tell you what, they did, and they actually lowered the chances down to 50%. They were as high as 80% chance of developing into our next tropical system, but now that has been lowered, and the simple reason is because it's not getting itself, it's organizing too quickly here. It's not organizing that quickly. On top of that, this front comes down and creates a lot of shear and will not allow it to develop, it looks like. At least it lessens the chances of doing so. There is definitely a circulation and rotation there. I do believe we have a low pressure area already at the surface, and if it does develop, it's going to move off to the north, basically. As this front moves on in, it kind of pushes it off toward the north and then eventually off toward the northeast. You can see quite a bit of storminess, though, to the east of the center there. There's most of the forecast path and track right just to the west of Bermuda and then off toward the north. For us, the water temperatures remain very warm in the western Caribbean Sea. And as far as the forecast goes, here comes the front. Timing of it right around, as I said, Friday afternoon, Friday evening. Cooler weather moving in on into Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures much cooler in behind that front in Green Bay, for example. It's 48 degrees. 56 in Omaha, 62 in Wichita, Denver at 62, and Dallas at 74. Well, for boating tomorrow, not too bad. It gets a little rough going over the weekend. Small craft advisories more than likely will be issued for Saturday and Sunday, but tomorrow not too bad. And then the extended forecast shapes up to be pretty nice over the weekend, albeit breezy on Saturday. And making strides against Breast Cancer Walk at Polo Grounds on Saturday should be really nice. So we'll be right back after this.
On horrendously cold nights, on days when the rain has been relentless, or when the sun is beating down, there is an animal trapped with no protection, fighting to stay alive. Time is running out for them, but you can help save them by joining the ASPCA today. With your donation of just $18 a month, you'll help rescue abused and neglected animals, provide them with food, shelter, and medical care. When you go online or call in the next 10 minutes, we'll send you this free membership kit and our limited edition 150th anniversary t-shirt. It's just 60 cents a day to pull animals out of a terrible life. Don't let them suffer another day. Please help now.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're discussing the third and final presidential debate. Our guests tonight are author and political historian Mark Weston, Susan Nylon, who is covering this year's elections for the Associated Press, and Republican State Committee woman A.J. Jansen. So when we start our discussion in this section, I'd like to talk about Donald Trump, who was asked by the moderator, Chris Wallace, if he would accept the results of the election. And here's what he had to say.
One of the prides of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
That's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him.
So I want to give everyone a chance to respond to this. We'll start with you, Susan.
You know, it's surprising to most of the country because there is a certain amount of decorum that's expected amongst a loser. We're taught from a very early age good sportsmanship. When you lose gracefully. And you accept the will of the people. I think the idea that every time it doesn't go his way that he accuses it of being rigged, except if he's winning, there's, you know, a big discrepancy in that logic. You know, and then I'd have to ask, what exactly does he mean that he's not going to accept it? Is he going to go cry in a room, or is, you know, he just really going to make a big public statement about it? But more importantly, and I think what most people are concerned about is not what he will do, but what will his supporters do? What will they be inspired to do, and will he allow it to happen? And that's a really big security concern.
Today, many Republicans have been pointing out that Al Gore did not concede for 5 weeks, but this is apples and oranges. No one is contesting Trump's right to contest a close election. He should fight for every vote, even while they're being counted, after they've been counted. But once it's clear that a candidate has lost, a gracious concession speech is central to American political tradition.
Yep. Okay, and AJ, your response.
Okay, what I'll say first is that this is Democratic hysteria. That all he said was, I may not accept the results. And if it's close, we don't want him to do that. We want to do a recount or whatever. We did that before, as Mark had mentioned. So, but I think it's hysteria in grabbing on words that Donald Trump says and then trying to run with it to create more hype.
But aren't you supposed to grab on the words of someone who wants to be president? That's his whole point of having a platform.
I don't think so. I think we have much more at stake in this country, and we need to focus on the jobs. We need to focus on energy. We have to make, to use his statement, we have to make America great again. We need respect back in this country. So to gleam on to stupid little words that what he may have said, we're second guessing
Although
what
he
really
did on
meant.
the campaign trail today say, I will accept the results of this year's election, and then he paused, and then he said, if I win.
Okay, that's gleaming on to words again, because he was joking.
Is he capable of giving a gracious concession speech?
Yes, he is. I met the gentleman 4 times, and he is extremely gracious. And actually, some of these things that happen is not the Donald Trump that I have met before, and most of the times we're here in Sarasota.
And what do you account for that, that it's not the same person?
I think he has in his mind how to run this campaign. Clearly, he is running it himself. It is his theory. And I think the way that he threw out the other 16 candidates was because he took them off guard. No one expected that kind of a primary campaign, and he won. Donald Trump wants to win. He is a winner. However, if it's a bad deal, he'll walk away from it.
Okay, so we're going to move on to one of the other topics discussed last night. Moderator, again, Chris Wallace, he pressed Trump. He asked him, if you become president, would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned? Trump kind of skirted around the issue, and then Wallace asked him again multiple times, and this was his final answer.
Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen.
This is one of the worst possible choices that any woman and her family has to make. And I do not believe the government should be making it.
Now, what Hillary Clinton was addressing was partial birth abortions, late-term abortions, which Trump said he is completely against, and Hillary Clinton came out and said some of these are medical decisions, not optional decisions made by the patient. But let's first talk about the statements made by Trump that if he put conservative judges there, justices there, that it would be overturned.
He didn't just say that, though. He maybe, you maybe took that from that, but what he really said was he was going to push it back onto the states, and that it would be states' rights.
But then when he did say that at first, and then he went next to saying,
because you can't keep up with his, you watch him, and he changes his mind before the sentence comes out. So it starts one way, and then it goes up to another. You know, this is a federal law. It wasn't a law that grew up through the states and then became a federal law. So to think that he could just put 3 conservative judges in there, unless something miraculous happened, I don't think he's ever going to get that chance anyway. He's not very factual on not only how it works, but also on the what happens with abortion. I mean, he was talking yesterday or last night about, you know, the day of birth, ripping the child out or cutting the womb open. You know, it's called a C-section. You know, yes, we do that, but it's not for the reasons that he's implying. So I just think he gets to a point where he says whatever he thinks he's supposed to say to make the base happy. I don't really think there's a whole lot of thought process in really thinking through his ideas.
Half of all abortions are in the first 6 weeks of pregnancy, which is 10 weeks before the first brain cells even appear in the fetus. It's just, the other thing I always find hard to understand is the decisions where they're fighting the spread of birth control, Planned Parenthood, Hobby Lobby, the very same people who are against abortion. And it's easy to understand why anybody would be against abortion, but then they start fighting the right for a woman to have access to birth control, which would prevent abortion. And I find this
although
inexplicable.
that wasn't really discussed much last night. But AJ, your reaction to this Roe v. Wade
I was waiting
exchange.
for you to get to me. Okay. I'm going to make a statement. People, women, wake up. I do not understand why our female organs are discussed every time when there's an election. My reproductive system and yours should not come up in every election. Roe versus Wade, people need to understand it does not restrict the woman from having an abortion, but it made it a federal law that states must provide it. But it would go back to the states. But first of all, even if the whole Supreme Court was all conservative, a case needs to be brought up before the court, before the judges decide. So I would say to all women there, you're being suckered. You're being suckered in every election by being threatened that Roe versus Wade will be overturned. That would not happen unless something was brought up.
Can I respond now? See, that's the problem.
Could you wait one more?
Oh,
No,
sure.
Because the other thing, too, is you were talking about the procedure on a late-term abortion.
Yeah.
The procedure on a late-term abortion is that they turn the baby's head upside down, they breech the baby, they take a long needle with a hook on it, and they put it in the back of the neck, and they mash the brain. And then, because it's a breech birth, this is true. You want to see?
I know.
Well, let's not get into all the details
but then
about
they
this.
delivered the baby breeched. And there are many times when that baby has still been alive, and then you have a child with severe mental problems.
Okay, I'll give Susan one to respond quickly, and then we're going to move on to the next topic.
All I was going to say is that you say that we're suckers because it's brought up every election. Something has to be brought up. every single year it's brought up. There are bills amongst the state that make it up to the higher levels of the court that are constantly challenging our right to make our own decisions. So it's brought up on a regular basis, which is why it's extremely important. And since Roe v. Wade was passed in the 70s, it's always been challenged. And that's why it's an important issue. It's an important issue for us, and it should be an important issue for everyone. And we need to know what somebody's position is on it before we decide to elect them for president.
Okay, so our next topic.
talking
Well, I
about
want to move
just
on to
one
this.
thing.
I just want to move on to this. So one of the biggest issues that is affecting Trump's campaign right now are the comments that he made in that tape released with Billy Bush about women. And then since then, some women have come forward accusing Trump of different accusations. And he was asked about that last night. Let's hear what he had to say.
I believe, Chris, that she got these people to step forward. If it wasn't, they get their 10 minutes of fame. But they were all it was all fiction. It was lies and it was fiction.
So, Mark, how did he handle that whole exchange about these women accusers?
There's no good way for him to handle it, so by saying it's fiction, he did the best he could. But each of these women who have come out, their stories have been corroborated by friends and relatives who said, yes, she talked about this groping to me at the time. So if you're going to believe that this is fiction, you have to believe not only did these 10 women come out and make up a story, but these 10 women also each had several friends and relatives who were willing to participate in this public so-called fiction. So now you're talking about 30 or 40 people making things up. So I think these stories have been corroborated.
And AJ, we have less than a minute left, but I want you to respond to how you think he handled that question.
Well, personally, I agree with Mark. There's really a difficult way to handle it because what you do is you have to call women liars, or you have to say they are being paid by the Democratic National Committee to discredit him. The one with Bush, that one was recorded, and he apologized. But I say again to the public, is this what we are going to decide on, all this gossip and the salacious stuff that happened 30 years ago? Let's look at what Hillary's the one that is running for president. She put our country in jeopardy with those releasing and having her own server.
Before we get into that, we are going to have to take a quick break. Okay. And when we come back, we'll get our final reactions from our guests.
ABC7 is proud to present Line Dance Central. Now you can learn popular country and not-so-country line dances from the comfort of your own home. Just visit mysuncoast.com, click on Entertainment, and you'll be kicking up your boots or flip-flops in no time. Brought to you by the White Buffalo Saloon and Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Do you know there is money available to lower your Medicare prescription costs? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you with no cost or obligation. We'll search a variety of plans from nationally recognized companies to find the coverage that's the best fit for you at a price that fits your budget, and we'll do it at no charge to you. Plus, you may be able to save money on prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call the number on the screen now to make sure you're getting all the benefits you deserve. Don't wait. Call now.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
The debates are over, and in 19 days, Americans will decide who will be our next president. So did last night make a difference? Our guests join us now for their final thoughts on that matter. Does this really matter in the general election, this debate or any of the debates?
Well, I think the debates do matter. I think that they matter if something negative happens or if there's a really big faux pas. At least that's the way it used to be. The amount of incorrect facts that were given last night would never have been accepted in debates before. Does it move the needle? I would say sort of move the needle. Those people that are on the edge, those people that were Bernie supporters, or the people from the Green Party or from the Libertarian Party, they might be waffling between the two, and something like last night would have helped them decide. But for the most of us, all it did was reaffirm what we already knew about both candidates.
Hillary Clinton looked and spoke in a very presidential manner in all three debates. The toss-up states now are Ohio, Iowa, North Carolina, Arizona. That's a very good position for her to be in. She gets accused of things on a daily basis by conservatives, but she gets cleared, and they don't want to hear about her being cleared. But I think most moderates and liberals know this, and so I think she's in a very good position to win in 2 weeks.
And AJ, your thoughts?
Boy, Mark, you're the one that I have to keep correcting. Okay, Hillary Clinton does not get cleared. She did not get cleared with the emails. She did not respond on those. She did not get cleared on the foundation. She did not get cleared because she didn't answer those questions. And just because Comey from the FBI said that he's not going to press charges, we also know there are questions that we have to delve in completely to see how this investigation was done. Because first, he nailed her to the cross, then he doesn't want to take her down, so people will say, poor Hillary.
With the foundation, she was accused of meeting with a Bahraini crown prince and with a Nobel Prize laureate, both of whom she would have met with had they never had any association with the foundation.
Okay, Mark, the problem with it, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but we don't have enough time.
We don't, so let's move off of that, but just in these last few seconds, do you think this helps or hurts Trump going into the election?
I think it helped him. I think when the actual polls come out, I think he will get a little bump from this, and then we'll see what else comes up on Hillary, because that's an endless line of more information that's coming out on her. But I will say that we want someone that will roll up his sleeves, that can get to work and clean up the mess that Barack Obama and Hillary made.
Okay, we'll have to leave it at that for this discussion. I know this could go on for much longer, but I do thank you all for sharing your thoughts. And before we go, we want to share what some of our viewers are saying about a story we reported on yesterday. A new Gallup poll reveals a record high 60% of American adults support legalizing marijuana for recreational use. 9 states will decide whether to expand legal access to pot on Election Day. Recreational use of marijuana is legal in Alaska, Colorado, Oregon, Washington State, and District of Columbia. They could be joined by Arizona, California, Maine, Massachusetts, and Nevada, depending on Election Day results. 3 states, including Florida, will decide whether to permit marijuana for medical purposes. We asked you what you thought if marijuana should be used for those purposes. Meech Sari writes, quote, no, because we can't trust anyone to regulate it. Better yet, we can't trust people not to abuse it. Scotty B wrote in and said, it's not about the ability to smoke and get high. It's about the freedom of choices for medical use. And Chad Smitty writes, I can't believe it's 2016 and we are still talking about this. It blows my mind. If you would like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, you can visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And I want to thank all of our guests for being here tonight. Mark Weston, author and political historian, Susan Nylon, covering the elections for the Associated Press, and A.J. Jansen, a state committee woman for the Republican Party. And when we return, we'll have a final check on our forecast, plus stay tuned for our primetime headlines.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
We will have a look at your primetime headlines coming up, but right now we have a final check on our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Haley. I tell you, a nice sunset tonight, and I tell you, it looks like it's going to stay clear through the evening, too. Up in to tomorrow morning, we'll start off with some sunshine as well. And as the sun sets, you can see this little light right there. That's Venus. We had some calls on it last night. A rather bright light there in the sky. It looks like a star, but it is the planet, and it will be continuing to march down to the lower part of the horizon in the next couple of hours. Should be gone. So that's what that is there. What this is here, showers mainly to the east and south of us, pushing off to the south and southwest. Typically, the activity that we see right here winds down here in just the next hour or so. So we're not looking for much rainfall here at all. And as far as the winds go, they're out of the northeast over most places, but still a little bit of a sea breeze still hanging on right near the coast. Siesta Key coming out of the northwest at 11, and near the coast there, Manasota Beach, 9 miles an hour out of the west-northwest. Elsewhere east of the interstate out of the northeast. Clear right now, 80 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 8. The pressure, 29.88 inches. The high today was above average at 90, close to 90, I should say, 88 degrees, 91 the record set in 2005, 46 the record low. Not going to set any record lows over the weekend, but it will be noticeably cooler for Suncoast residents. And monthly total now for rainfall, 2.64 inches. The forecast tomorrow shaping up to be sunny and warm. High temperatures in the upper 80s, mid-80s near the coast. Here comes the front, and it's now moving across parts of Tennessee all the way down into Louisiana and Texas. And as far as we're concerned, that front is not going to bring a lot of rain our way. The tropical enhanced satellite imagery showing a definite location of a low pressure right there, just to the east of the Bahamas, and that will head off away from Florida over the weekend. And as far as temperatures go across the U.S., right now in Omaha it's 50, St. Louis at 58 degrees and 79, and Tallahassee, those are forecast temperatures, I should say, for overnight lows. North winds turn to the northwest, 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be 2 feet with a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now at 80 degrees. Tides upcoming on your screen. The next low tide will be at 9:57. And the forecast tonight, fair and a low of 69. Tomorrow, look for another warm day. And then the extended forecast calling for temperatures to be into the upper 70s over the weekend. Nice and cool. Haley will be right back after this.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here, because
Why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Sarasota Opera presents Donizetti's Don Pasquale. 6 performances from October 28th through November 13th. Reserve your tickets at sarasotaopera.org.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
The battle for the Iraqi city of Mosul forges ahead. Iraqi and Kurdish forces, with the support of the U.S., are fighting to push ISIS out of Iraq's second largest city. The country's prime minister says the offensive is going, quote, more quickly than expected. Aid agencies are now warning about the dangers for civilians fleeing the besieged city.
It is completely unsafe, very risky, a very risky journey. They are faced with this impossible choice: either stay where they are or risk their lives going out.
ISIS militants are torching oil fields for cover. The coalition forces still have a ways to go before reaching the city limits, and that is where they expect the most fierce fighting to happen. Some alarming news about the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. The Environmental Protection Agency's internal watchdog says the EPA had enough information to issue an emergency order to protect residents of Flint from lead-contaminated water as early as June of 2015, 7 months before it declared an emergency. An inspector says the Flint crisis should have generated, quote, a greater sense of urgency at the EPA to intervene. Flint's drinking water became tainted when the city began drawing from the Flint River in 2014 to save money. Regulators failed to ensure water was treated properly for lead and from aging pipes leached into that water supply. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Haley Wilgus. We'll see you again at 11. Have a great evening.